and noxious. Bad guys in a world of doo-doo right now. It's poop all the way down, chat. It's poop all the way down. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. It's not hunt night. Luffy's trying desperately to make hunt happen. I'm curious what the new event is, but no, it probably won't be hunt night tomorrow either. I have to see. It is, in fact, instead, viewer game night, and we do have a whole lot to go through. People were going crazy. A lot of cool stuff seems to have happened, but we're actually going to be rolling back the clock back into March, and we're going to jump in right away because there's a whole lot of games to review. Quick aside, everybody, before we get into the actual content, I was accepted into the Phobies Content Affiliate Program, the content creator program, you might call it. Shout out to the Phobies team, and thank you for that. But the reason I'm telling you, everybody out there, dear viewer, dear listener, is to let everybody know that I do receive some compensation from the Phobies team as a result of being part of that program. Now, I loved Phobies before, and I still love Phobies now, and I expect I will still continue to love Phobies in the future. So look forward to more Phobies content coming from Random's Thoughts. So now, on with the show. So the first one up on the docket, Kratos here on Biff's Room. This game is so old, Biff's Room might have gone out of rotation and come back in. Nothing too fancy, no big plays, basic Fokies. By the way, who missed when Random's Thoughts used to say, I love Phobies before, and I still love Phobies now, and I expect still love Phobies in the future. Stay tuned for more Phobies action, good old days. That's literally in every single video, Kratos, because that is part of the disclaimer that I am part of the content affiliate program. If you didn't know that, you probably saw it already because I usually mix it in. But yeah, I'm part of the content affiliate program. They give me stuff for producing Phobies content. So, will you prioritize the ones submitted last week that weren't reviewed? Yeah. I'm trying to do them in chronological order because there aren't any sub games as far as I'm aware in the docket. So, yeah, hear about the T's new boss? Ooh, no, I didn't hear about that, Luffy. Curious about that. Welcome back, Denny. Welcome back. We're getting all the old guard back in to hang out here as we're looking at a Kratos game. So, yeah, there's not really a whole lot going on here that's abnormal, although I'm a little surprised by this Ted. This seems weird. I don't know. It seems weird. But Panic Point Advantage, good guy here. Just kind of, I guess we're probably just going to watch a slow and steady advance. Chip away at bad guy when you can. This is a little weird. I assume that this will tank it. 544. This will not. So this opens up the opportunity for this to get sniped. We'll see if bad guy actually takes that opportunity because that would mean the murder wing goes down. I don't know if this was a mistake or a bait here. Because obviously this is dead. So you get Ted and Murder Wing for your jar. That seems fine. I guess it seems fine. I'm not really sure. Alright, we're instead getting the detonation over here. The walk away. I guess that's okay. Can they just kill this anyway? 1,000 health. 4, 9. Like, this is still a dead unicorn if they want it. Now, the Inoculus... Well, the Inoculus doesn't matter too much. I don't know. I guess they can... If they invade and kill the unicorn, they probably lose bow, but I think they're going to do it anyway. To be perfectly honest, chat, a lot of my games well, not just recently, but in general, if it's a small map, they kind of boil down to try not to lose immediate board position. Bank to big thing, probably Evo 3.0, because it's generically good. And then try and have that carry the day. I've been branching out to try and force Dozer, force Chuck, force Yeti, actually, in a game offline earlier today, to try and just do different things, try and force other scenarios, but I don't... This is also a dead Inoculus, isn't it? It could be a dead Inoculus, but they probably lose these two maybe even the Contortio, so it's probably not worth it diving for this. That being said, bad guys offering up their jar and this Bowmangles is dead. Like, they get the stabby? Press X to doubt. I don't agree with this one, bad guy. It seems like there were a couple blunders on each side here. X to doubt. Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with the notes. Kratos here is saying just taking stuff down. That's basically what it looks like here. Like, I'm not seeing anything. Not any particularly impressive play. Bad guy just seems to be... What? Sure, I guess. I mean, I don't know about Spud in general. I guess it doesn't matter with what kills this cassowary. And Noxious. Bad guy is in a world of doo-doo right now. It's poop all the way down, chat. It's poop all the way down. This game is truly a flashback. Why is that, Luffy? Snowball getting a little snipage here on ye old Stabby. You know what's funny is this doesn't look horrendous for bad guy right now. Well, actually it does, because this lived. Oh my god, it lived. I thought it was dead. If it was dead, maybe, but like, not if it lives. This is terrible. Just back when we did random stuff and it worked because the enemy did random stuff. Yeah, we're definitely past that phase of the game for most levels where... Like, the powerful phobies, the powerful strategies have been identified, and it's not... It's difficult to say, oh, well, everyone has it figured out, because everybody makes mistakes, or people are just doing things because of the events, or they want to ramp games, or they want to do this, or they want to do that. But in a lot of scenarios, yeah, ooh, that was kind of a cool finish. Get the double snipe there. GG, Kratos. GG. But yeah, in a lot of cases, it just boils down to you see a lot of the same stuff because you're going to see a lot of the same stuff. Like, it's chess. You can't fault somebody in chess for using their queen, right? So the same sort of thing's going to happen. That's why I'm still of the opinion, I keep repeating it, tournaments, which, by the way, Fright Night and Tiny Terrors. Tiny Terrors Event 2 is going to be up soon. Well, registration is already up as I'm saying this, like while we're streaming live. Fright Night, I'm finalizing some of the details for Fright Night 6, and then we'll have that up and running. But I think setting things to level 1 gives people a lot more flexibility as to what things they can or can't do. You're still going to settle into, hey, these are your generally good phobies, but the niche ones tend to get ignored when people level stuff up, so then it's like, hey, I can't even use it because it's under-leveled even for its niche, which is rare enough to begin with. It is what it is. Winding back the clock once again on Biff's room, but this time with Redwick as our hero. Droney has really taken a liking to the enemy's heart for some reason. All right, we might get a funny one here. Hey, Big She, what's good? That's fair, Urk. That's fair. This is an interesting opener from Redwick. Speaking of doing... Wait, what? All right, we were talking about how, oh, well, every game you're going to see the same stuff. I promise you, you're not going to see the Misanthrope opener all that often. You're just not. So we're in for it now, chat. I'm not even clear this is a good What? What? Temptress? Why is this happening? So, I was gonna... Wait, what? You slapped the... Oh, what is happening? Like, why did you slap the Temptress? I mean, I guess they're not gonna kill the Bachelor, but... Now the Misanthrope dies, and... What is going on? First of all, I don't hate Misanthrope. We've talked about it before. Like, I think Misanthrope is a thing. Why the jar only moved 2 spaces? It could have attacked. It did attack. It hit the bachelor. I thought it did. I was kind of looking at chat, so I thought I saw it. It didn't attack. Maybe they ran out of time. We actually get... We get a challenge play, not only to kill the jar, but to get a pot shot onto the murder wing. This, I don't even know what to say about this game, chat. This is wild. It's kind of hilarious. I don't hate Misanthrope. I think Misanthrope is okay. But I'm not a huge fan of Temptress, even as a response. Wait, what? What is happening? Why? Tell me this if this lives. Okay, good. I got worried for a second. Yeah, the droney, I don't understand, like... What is happening? This is also 33 turns, chat. We have another 23 turns of whatever this insanity is. Which, by the way, apparently droney goes heart, so this thing lives? Spoiler alert? Alright, we finally get a stabby. Hashtag, by the way. Mopsy's going in. Cyclops. There's something you haven't seen in a while, although it's actually because of the event. I've seen a lot of Cyclopses as of late. Cyclops Eye? Cyclopses. This has to be dead, right? Yeah, it's dead. 6 keys remaining for our hero. Damage jar, by the way. 8 keys left for bad guy. That's a little spooky scary. I'm not sure, Luffy. But yeah, I imagine this is a low stress level game. Chad has kind of been pointing it out the whole time. Both due to the plays that were made as well as some of the particular phobies that we're seeing. But it's actually comical. Alright, bad guy is skipping over the droney, electing to go for Cyclops. I can't really blame them. I never noticed that the eye that Cyclops is holding rotates. At least I don't think I've noticed it. Droney MVP. I mean, Droney's picking up kills left and right. Get a Clinico because why not? When you're low level, this is your big... I'm banking for it to take over the game phobie. Unfortunately, bad guy has a big banking take over the game phobie as well, and that's Barzilla. What the hell is go... Alright, now we get bow mangles? Somebody, like, took this entire game, like, took a normal game plan, threw it in the washing machine, and put it on the spin cycle. Because there is just stuff coming out in weird orders, and things that don't make any sense, and, like... What is going on? Barzilla's invading, which, admittedly, like, I don't know what Redwick really does here. Basically, Redwick needs bad guy to make an egregious error here. You can chip this down a little bit, but you're not... It's going to take a while. That being said, bad guy... Yeah, bad guy elected to go for this... Wait, what? Okay, this makes sense. Never mind. It can hit the jar. That guy elected to go for this and thereby kind of pose themselves because they just have less actions than our hero. 30, 60, 58, 55. I think I said it backwards when I said bad guy needs to make an egregious error. It's actually Redwick has to really screw up to lose this game, I think. This is a lot of HP plus a Clinico to back it up. And you have a life lead. Yes, you're down panic points, but it's only 1. And Droney is just glued to the heart. Like, what is happening? Droney getting the beat down on. Droney beats, chat. You know, I'm not going to go back and count it, but I have to wonder if bad guy had just gone for the heart and, like, not tried to go after anything else, just beeline for the heart after they got panic point advantage, could they have raced? It might have been able to. Yeah, Droney's going to take down the heart. We knew that from the beginning. But, like, this is wild. This is an incredible game. These are fun games to watch. Like, don't get me wrong. I enjoy watching super high level, the number 1 and number 2 ranked people on the ladder kind of thing. But sometimes it's funny to just watch Mopsy and Droney go to town. And just pulverize somebody. It's funny watching Droney tickle the heart instead of capping a panic point. I mean, to be fair, well, Droney could have gotten this one safely. Droney could have gotten that panic point safely at some point. I need to create a Smurf account and bring crazy plays to low ranks. I feel like a lot of people have Smurf accounts. I feel like a lot of people have Smurf accounts. That may not actually be true, but... And when suddenly, Stabby was all alone... How does the game not end this turn? I think Redwick was hell-bent on making this Droney finish the game. Because otherwise, like, yeah, just kill the Stabby and the game's over. After all those Redwick BMs. Look, Droney needs its time in the limelight. You could make the argument that Redwick was donating extra resources, tiers, and XP to Bad Guy because they allowed more takedowns. You can look at it silver lining-wise. But GG. Well played. Weirdly played, but well played. Alright, so we're zoning in here. Urkevina on crypto. Let's see what the notes are for this one, because we're going a little bit out of order here. Can't believe this worked. Not letting on anything about what's actually happening. Bad Guy with the somewhat oddball opener. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of the map crypto. And I tend to just go Gravedigger as an opener. Kind of leaning into Honey Bear, but I don't know. I feel like getting Honey Bear to work on this map is more challenging than you might think it is. The reason being is just trying to preserve your Gravedigger. Getting a Gravedigger into this spot to break this obstacle, so that way, you know, if you're player 2, you break this obstacle, then you can Honey Bear these 2 points. That's harder than you'd think. Because most of the time, the Gravedigger will pop out and then just die. I don't know why the Gesundheit end up here. I guess these 2 probably could have killed it, and that's why. So we get the late Gravedigger play from Urk. We're still getting threats here, so now Urk is going to have to reinforce in order to try and threaten one of these on the counterattack, because they could dive and blow up the Gesundheit. They can still do it if they want to. But Boom is definitely going to mean that there's going to be a double takedown here if they decide to come in. But Bad Guy has the early panic point advantage, and as mentioned, this can be very difficult to get the Gravedigger to break this block so that Honey Bear can actually do something. We'll see if we even get a Honey Bear, although Urk is kind of known for it now. So that's still technically a dead Gesundheit if Bad Guy wants it. But they would lose everything on the return probably to Boom. Because Boom could go right here, because Murder Wing goes here, this goes here, or the Snowball comes in. Why didn't they attack Gravedigger a bit? Probably fearful of the overextension. Now, realistically, would it have mattered? Yeah, I think it matters. Like, getting a single hit on a Gravedigger actually makes it shockingly easy to kill later on. You know, you tend to not get it in a single volley unless your opponent wildly overextends. But, you know. Ooh, high five? Nah, that's not a high five. As Big She is saying, it is in fact Chuck. Now, Bad Guy is maxed out on Phobies, by the way. Oops. Because that means you now need to dive Chuck somehow. Or, more likely, you're just going to take the panic point here and accept death. So the block did come down from Urk here, sealing off the top. This is something I used to like to do, and then I was trying leaning more into the honey bear plan. But either way, that panic point is somewhat safe now. So we do get the heads-up play here to prevent the pull, which means that the Gesundheit is safe, or at least is going to demand an invade to try and claim this. Now, one thing I'm surprised didn't happen is, like, why didn't the boom just take this point? You're eating stale almonds? Why? Why would you do that? That does, in fact, sound awful. So we get a creep. That's bad guy's miracle cure answer to Chuck. We get a... Why do we have gargles? Hold on. What is the cooldown on this? We have a gargles, chat. What is going on? Urk is going to play Minecraft again? Yeah, we might have another Minecraft game. Like, I'm not even... It's not that I don't see the value potentially in gargles. It's just that it's weird because... Wouldn't you have killed this creep? No, you can't. Never mind. Well, I mean, maybe you could have. No, probably not. Like, a snowball plus the Chuck hit might have been able to kill it, but the Chuck is low enough damage. I thought this was Phobies. Urk has a tendency to turn it into Minecraft. So the Gravedigger cooldown is up, meaning that we can get a double block somewhere. This Spud is just dead. I don't understand what bad guy is doing. They're just kind of hemorrhaging Phobies, and I feel like I can sense... Oh, there you go. Nice. You get the gargles block, get this nice wall getting set up. Tonight started off weird? Yeah, there's a lot of weirdness. There's a lot of weird games so far. We had that one Wait, timeout. You had foul, but you went creep first? I don't know. Why foul? I mean, it's an answer to Chuck, but you probably needed it several turns ago. The thing is that bad guy still has over 5,200 health on their heart, so they have a little bit of time. It's only a 2-to-1 panic point advantage, but look at this! Look at this! Urk has staked their claim. They built the castle. And now it's... Good luck, bad guy. You're not getting through. This is my half and this is your half. Exactly. Like everybody's 6 years old again. The only way this would be better is if Chuck could be up 1 so that it could hit the heart from where it is, but... Instead, we're just going to wait it out. Gargles even lives to do it again. How many times do you see Well, actually, Gargles might be dead. Never mind. Has anybody ever used Gargles and it lived? I feel like no Gargles has ever actually lived. I did have a game where I used it twice but lost. Well, I guess technically that meets the original criteria. Use Gargles to smack heart once. Yeah, bad guy's just dead here. This one kind of came down to bad guy just made some questionable phobie choices, some questionable early movements, put themselves in a hole, and just really had no way. The Chuck sealed it, right? As soon as Chuck hit the board, and then they responded with creep, it's like, alright, I think this game is over. I use Gargles before I brush my teeth to make sure they're extra clean. That seems like good oral hygiene. The foul instead of lobbers was nice. What, you think they should have gone lobbers to answer the Chuck? I don't know. I think bad guy was slowly pushed into a corner. I mean, they obviously were, but they were pushed into a corner because their early positioning and early phobie choices kind of put them on the back foot, and then they never did anything to try and, like, swing it back around, is what it, at least in my opinion, what did it. But GG, or GG. And apparently everybody just wants to submit games on crypto. SilverK this time. We're getting in there. I was trying to think of something, and my brain just kind of stuttered for a moment. The opponent felt like bossing me around, so I showed him the F around and find out with my own bad boy. All right, Silver, let's see. Wait, does Silver have boss? I lost... I lost a game earlier today, and I think yesterday also, on, or 2 boss. And I'm realizing I don't really have a clear idea how I want to answer boss. On a small map, I think I'm okay with trying to use Smiley, but on larger maps, I'm not really clear. I could staple Smiley onto my team, but I don't know that that's really what I want to do. But regardless, we're getting out of SilverK, somewhat normal opener. Cassowary might be a little heavy on the melee, but Cassowary's fine, obviously. Ooh, we get an Ice Cream. Death a la mode. Get a little Ice Cream action. I think this is the first game we've seen with Ice Cream. I really want this to be... I wish there was flavor text, and I want it to be like, I scream, you scream, we all scream for death, or something like that. You want to test this guy? I think Ice Cream has some potential. I mean, freezes are just cool, right? The problem is, and we talked about this with the patch breakdown, is that there's standard... so many fire phobies, like Snowball, used all the time. Boss, used all the time. Evo 3.0, used all the time. I mean, Fire Ant, I see less, but if you had an Ice Cream, it would probably show up. Plus, there's Lava Tiles. Plus, there's, you know, like... But it's still an early game freeze, so you gotta give it a shot. I love how it, like, defrosts itself because it's popping the ice cubes out. It seems to have a very quick idle animation. Barzilla, but Barzilla doesn't get used that much. Although we did see it earlier tonight, so what do I know? So 2-to-1 panic point advantage. The block eventually is broken. Cooldown is about to be up. Not this turn, but next turn. You've used them a good bit. Some people get scared off because of how powerful the ability is. It is pretty powerful, but I imagine as you get higher up in the ranks that people will... They'll just be like, alright, I'm going to snowball it. I still think Stabby is the best animations. Why? Because it's a voodoo doll? Because it stabs itself. Yeah, we get a little Chuck action. 2 games in a row. Chuck on crypto. I've heard good things. Everybody's channeling Vasey. Boss goes in questionably. Because you're going to get a hit from this off of the stem. You're going to get a leap from the cassowary potentially. You get a snowball follow-up. This is a level 15 boss, though. Wow. So do we have 3k damage? Because this is... We just got to look at this. We'll round it up and say 1,200. 18. 21. I don't think you're getting another 900 off of 3 keys, but... I mean, maybe. It's definitely going to put a hurt on him, though. He's not going to be happy about this. I want to know, does Ice Cream do anything this game? Because Ice Cream is kind of like hanging out down here, and it's, for people who aren't familiar, it's only got 1 move. Yeah, that absolutely hurts. Like, look at that boss. The thing is it can now sit back there. To a degree, so SilverK is up 3 keys, 3 to 6, and has a panic point advantage, and has a freeze phobie. So if that boss ever comes in range, guess what? Frozen. We get the lockout again. Chuck is now in a more aggressive position, and Noxious is the penultimate phobie. We got 2 dimensionals and 2 undead, so I don't hate this idea. Another Chuck Castle? It might be. It might be. Chuck playing King of the Castle. So that's a dead daisy. Because Chuck can kill it and then Noxious goes in and dips out. Or Noxious could go in and poison all these and stay. Like, alright, going for the poison. This was not the play I was thinking of, but this is kind of cool. This is a pretty cool play. You get the splash here. Little extra heat. Dropping it down on boss's dome piece. Ice Scream, I guess, just... He's not going to freeze anything. He's just going to clear obstacles. And down goes boss. How often do you see an invade on boss like that? I mean, realistically, bad guy, I think, just... They were way too over-aggressive up north. There was no need for that boss to go in. It's like, oh, I'm going to get it, you're fired. But you didn't kill anything. And you took 1 billion damage on the return hit. Like... Now, that being said, it's now Chuck and Ice Scream with 1 key trying to beat up the rest of the team. Now, Ice Scream is strong as bad guy can't unfreeze. What's stronger? Nice, we get the Ice Scream freeze. There we go. Like, look at that. Look at that. Beautiful. It is on the lava. I imagine this could die. But you've effectively eliminated the Bomangles for now. No, it's going to live. Clinico comes in to heal Bomangles, because I guess you can do that. That's a pretty cool attack animation for Ice Scream. Ultimately, though, just because the freeze is there, it's enough, because this Bomangles is out of commission for so long. Ice Cream has a cool attack animation. Why let it die? Because it doesn't matter. Because ball game, that's why. GG. Well done, Silver. Showcasing one of the new phobies. Love to see it. So we finally exited Crypto, and we actually have a replay from Rossarius here in the blue trunks. We're coming back to Biff's room. I believe Rossarius this is the first time we're doing a game breakdown. So shout out to everybody who submits game replays to get here on the live stream. Link for that is, of course, in the description alongside the like and subscribe button and the link for Discord. Throwing those out there. But great game using Dial and Yeti against out-leveling phobies. Hashtag hate Hevo. It says Heavy 3.0, but I assume it's supposed to be Hevo. Yeah, Karth has, if this is the person I'm thinking of, they do have a reputation for having enormously over-leveled phobies. This is a level 20 Unicorn, level 19 Razormouth. Wait, a level 6 Dial? That's a bold move, Cotton. Like... I don't know about that. Like, I want to know... Good guy, if you're watching this on YouTube, let me know. Did you, like, phone it in when you zoned into the game? You're like, oh, well, there's just no way that I'm going to be able to do this, so I'll pop out Dial because it doesn't matter. Dial doesn't need a lot of levels to make it work. While I agree, it's still a level 6 phobie. It's doing virtually no damage and has almost no health. For a second, I thought the game replay bugged because, like, nothing was happening for just a little too long. Yeah, I mean, Dial's, of course, there for the ability, but the reality is that if it's going to go in and just implode when something looks at it funny, that is a concern. That's always going to be true everywhere, Luffy, regardless. We haven't had stuff like that in a while, but we do, in fact, get the dial laying down its stun, turning it into a zombie. It would be funny if, aside from this, it, like, made them look like an undead. The panic point advantage is in favor of bad guy. I imagine... Where was this? This was here, I think. So, this has not laid down a trap yet, I don't think. Maybe it did. Noxious is the 5th phobie. A bunch of dimensionals, well, a couple dimensionals and some monsters here. There was a trap, okay. Well, I mean, I don't, Luffy. Or I try not to. Move 1 action for 2 turns feels strong in the right situation. I feel like Dial feels strong. Well, I don't want to say all the time, because there's clearly scenarios where, okay, it doesn't matter, right? But it's a pretty powerful ability. It's a pretty powerful ability. Which explains why its stats are so pathetic, right? Karth has the coolest avatar in the game. What is the... Is there a blue... Yeah, the Blue Lion one is just him like this, right? As opposed to, Graylian up here, like, mind-controlling you. So we get it. Well, I'm afraid to look. That's a big boy. That's a big boy. Now, our hero here has 9 keys and a dream. So, how exactly are they going to stave off this Hevo? Get the Noxious going in. I don't know what Dial is doing there. Probably our hero backed it up and then realized, wait, the Hevo can hit it and then kill the jar. So we now have Yeti, which is, as mentioned earlier, there's a lot of fire phobies available. Well, not in this particular game. There's only 1 available because there's only 3 keys left for bad guy. I don't quite get that one. So, you have 2 fire phobies, right? If you come in here and then lob, you push a ton of damage. They do this, or they freeze you. You probably kill whatever's there. And then you can thaw with this, and then you still have the keys to potentially Clinico or something. I don't know, that just seems weird. Hashtag hate heavy 3.0. He's a little chunky. He's a little chunky. So appropriately letting the poison... What? I guess this is getting offered up in order to get the keys freed up, but I don't feel like that was necessary. Final phobia is Cowbell. So our hero's got to do it with these 5 phobies. Not gonna lie, I'm not real clear on how that's gonna happen. Admittedly, they're putting in some work, but this Hevo should just take over this game, right? I don't know about that. No, yeah, So, Hevo probably should have come in and lobbed. You kill the Cowbell, you damage this, and then you have the Fireball to thaw it? I don't know, maybe that isn't worth it. But if you have the stats like this, I feel like you just gotta abuse the numbers, right? You have way better numbers than your opponent. Just bully them. Especially since you have the Clinico. The Clinico can now, like, if you make a mistake, alright, well, I'll just heal it off, because this Clinico is... This Clinico is better than my Metabot, and probably better than my Dr. Dermic. This is how my Rocket Man won games. People turned off their brains because of Freeze. Freeze can definitely mess with you. But... Bad Guy already has 2 fire phobies. It's not like, oh, well, I need to figure out how to react and then position them. It's You have 2 fire phobies, and if they freeze anything but the Hevo, you can target your guy like it's a block, and then AoE their team. I don't know. Regardless, Snowball goes down. Now there's only 1 fire phobie. So that freeze is suddenly way more threatening. You get the big ol' splash going down, though. I'm still kind of unclear how our hero wins this. Does this die this turn? Oh, that's just enough. Wow! Just enough. The dial coming in clutch. The dial coming in clutch. Look at this board state. Look at this board state. We now have 2 contenders for what's going to be the thumbnail, because it's Dial and Ice Cream. Well played, Rossarius. Well played. So you do get the heal going down. The Hevo is still alive, which is scary. But I imagine it's going to need 2 hits to kill either of these, and then the other one can finish it off. Okay, probably only need 1 hit. Otherwise... Nope, it'll tank it. Well done. A true clickbait thumbnail would have Ice Cream half the screen and the other half this Frozen Hevo 3.0. That would be funny. Maybe I should do that. Maybe I should do that. So we have somebody else who's new to game submissions, or at least I believe it is Elnuk here on Eternal Monday, going up against bad guy Dr. Diabetes. As I've said before, I do personally happen to have diabetes, so I find it funny. But shout out to all my Andy Reid and Wilford Brimley fans. I have diabetes. All right, anyway, diabetes aside. Chuck does it? Yes, it does. All right, we get a Chuck game apparently on Eternal Monday. So our hero here is starting out with a Gravedigger. That's kind of what I expect on this map. Reload the client for the pack? Eventually. I'm not too worried about it. So the problem with the Gravedigger opener, if you don't... Well, there isn't really much of a way to stop this. Like, they can cap these 2 pretty safely if you do the break on 1, because you're just not positioned aggressively enough. Even if you were, they're just going to walk away anyway. So bad guy gets out to an early panic point advantage. Oh, excuse me. I've had the hiccups for the last, 2 days, chat. It's driving me crazy. On and off for, the last 2 days. Gravedigger hightails it the hell out of dodge. Is there any way that this cowbell dies which allows the murder wing to get killed? I don't think so. Because nothing can reach this. But ultimately the cowbell will go down. Served its purpose though. Cap that center panic point. I just like zooming in and out sometimes, chat. It's fun for me. And I was going to make another comment, but we're getting another Gravedigger wall. This one's interesting. So, I'll be honest, on Eternal Monday, trying to come through the north here or the south here is often very awkward. So, it is challenging to try and get value out of that. However, I don't know that this block really benefits you all that much. But bad guy opted to charge in for some reason and therefore is going to take some free damage on bow mangles. I don't know why the bow mangles came up to hit this. You're not heart rushing through here with bow mangles. That's not what's happening. And obviously, if you sent bow mangles into the center, it's going to get incinerated, so... I'm not clear on why bad guy went after that. That just feels like a waste. Not that they had a whole lot of other things to do. But we're in this 1-key trading war with both players banking up. We got 10 keys apiece, 13 total. And Crushmore is 6 of those keys for bad guy maxed out at the moment. I have to imagine our hero in the orange trunks is going to drop the big old Chucky boy. Especially now, because bad guy has committed to this. So they have 7 keys. They can still, of course, put an answer on the board. It could be foul, it could be sheep, it could be whatever. But trying to sneak a sheep, or a foul for that matter, through this hellfire that's going to be coming from the jar is going to be problematic. Now, one thing bad guy could do is they are up keys. They could try to win the 1-key trading war. Just recap the center over and over again, force Chuck to come in and try and do it? I don't know. You gotta spend your 56k points on something? You gotta stop refunding your own points. I'll have to come up with some other channel point redemptions. Chuck is going for the heart here. And Chuck has got friends to back him up. So many Chucks tonight. There have been a few. There have been a few. You're waiting for some spice to redeem them on? We need, for variety stuff, we'll have to come up with something. I don't like the ideas of, like, people picking decks I play or stuff like that. Like, I think I'm just going to get annoyed, and I don't think it'll be fun. So bad guy has allowed Chuck to commit in, push a lot of damage, and then, like, full-on retreated. Again, we're getting a creep here. Why? But at this point, our hero's got the right idea. Like, cap all the points. You're not going to kill anything quick enough. And recap the points. Just not enough time to make it happen. Very much damned if you do, damned if you don't. Oh my god, this Chuck's, or the 12 health on the Gravedigger. But it would appear, in fact, that our hero is getting it done. GG. GG. Well done. So apparently we're only looking at games on basically 2 maps tonight. So we're looking here at a Morbid Fates game in the blue trunks. Our hero has Sucky Still Reigns Supreme. We get a little Sucky action. Here we go. Let's see what we've got. By the way, if you're watching this either live or later on YouTube, if you want to hit up some Phobies tournaments, check out the Discord in the description. The likes and subscribes do, of course, help. We're trying to get Tiny Terrors 2, the second event for Tiny Terrors. It's an event where only common and uncommon Phobies are allowed to be played. And we'll be starting up with Fright Night 6, hopefully in the near future. Hopefully I can get this up and running and underway. We're going to try a slightly different format this time. We'll see how people like it. So in the meantime, Sucky is going up against a plethora of little Phobies running amok here. But in fact, not claiming that many Phobies. Or claiming that many panic points with all the Phobies. I don't really get bad guy's opener here. I need to learn how to play Sucky. Honestly, like, Red Rum is a good map for it. Or it's an okay map for it. The reason I say that, or any of the small ones like this, you can start off with an enormous amount of HP. So you go like Sucky into Stabby into Bowmangles, or Sucky into Stabby into Inoculus, and then you have these bodyguards sitting in front of Inoculus, and you can just inch your way across the map. But in the meantime, bad guy was banking a little bit after the initial swarm The initial tidal wave of cheap Phobies into a Quagmire. This thing is not going to die, so this is pretty aggressive here. Also a little odd where things are connecting, and this is probably just to avoid boom here. The AWOL here also doesn't... I don't know. I guess bad guy can't get the Innocuous. Like, there's just not enough damage. The bad guy makes the Hakune play by popping the boom on nothing in order to generate another Phobie. Takes down the Contortio. Poison going down on Jin Sting. I mean, this is all fine. This is part of the reason why, like, I guess you can just kill this AWOL here. The Toe laying the beats. Sucky taking down Creep. Do we get a Muffin? We get a Muffin. That was a pretty solid turn. Not a very good turn for bad guy, but they're not out of it. The fact that they still have Quagmire on the board, it's still pretty healthy. They have Jar. They'll trade AWOLs, I guess. But they're definitely in a bad spot with 4 keys left. If they had a little bit more of a bank... Okay, this makes sense. Take down the Innocuous. That's fair. I don't know about this, because the Jar is just dead. Sheep? Really? Really? I don't know about that. I don't know about that. So sheep will connect with, like, baby Snakey and then die, I guess? I have to imagine our hero counted this up so baby Snakey will live, accounting for a snowball. Because if it doesn't... Okay, this is getting a little weird now. 4 keys remaining for our hero, 3 for bad guy. Bad guy's not in a horrendous spot. As long as they don't lose too many more Phobies. Wait, can this Quagmire just die? Snowball follow-up? Alright, I take it back. Bad guy's just hosed. Bad guy's just hosed. Hey, Eric, what's good? Yeah, if bad guy was able to maintain any Phobie here, they probably would have been okay. I don't really get the sheep, as I was saying earlier. Alright, Thinny, thanks for hanging out. Have a good night. I take it bad guy's surrendering here. Just sending the Murder Wing into its doom. Not bad, Morbid, not bad. Sucky did, in fact, make it all the way to the end of the game, which is pretty impressive. Did pretty well for itself. And then there was only Snowball. I take it back, Sucky doesn't... This whole game, I was getting corrected. Anytime I said something, the game's like, no, that's not actually how it worked. GG. GG. Ooh, we're on Mesophobe, Dark Soul. Always good for responding to the questions that I put in the live stream, so shout out to Dark Soul. Feel free, anybody else who's watching this on YouTube, or even on the live stream, drop any comments you want on the videos, other stuff you'd like to see. Other stuff that you want to have for Phobies content. Just let me know. But bad guy here is going with probably what you'd expect is the... If we didn't know what to do on this map, this would probably be a reasonable opener, right? Like, oh, well, I'm going to spread out, cap a bunch of panic points. But actually, believe it or not, neither player has gone with the Squiggles plan. But notably, this is a very conspicuous 2-1 opener going second on a big map. Like, are we about to see a high five? Are we about to see a high five? Because this is only a 14-turn game, chat. Did I call it or what? High five! This High Five and Squiggles simultaneously exemplify basically everything that's wrong with this map. I really don't like this map. Now, I know that Karsticles and Hakune were testing responses, but I don't know what their findings were. I don't know if they ever shared them publicly. But regardless, I've played 2 or 3 games on this map, and basically it was turn 1, run Squiggles towards the heart, end the game before we even hit double-digit turns. It's like, this is very, very silly. So we're looking at a level 5 high five, still representing, well, over 1,000 damage to the heart. Who needs panic points? Evo coming out. The sheep is presumably to try and help, but this Evo is not going to kill in time. That might be true, Big She. I don't know if it's significantly different than any other map for that. I mean, I get what you're saying. If they have a high-level Squiggles or high five, they're just going to clobber you, and there's basically no hope, but... So we don't get to kill on the Murder Wing, but do get a stabilization on the panic points here. This is basically where the rest of the game is. I don't even know if there's anything, like... Do we even need to look at the rest of the game, or do we just zoom in here? Honestly, I need to be able to zoom out permanently. I did put in all those suggestions. I mentioned them in the anniversary patch feedback thread, which if you haven't seen in the official Discord, there is a feedback thread for the anniversary update, both the ARG event as well as everything else. I don't know what the gator's for, but I don't think it matters. Because this Hevo and this Ray Chargels are not killing this quickly enough. Oh, maybe they are. Take it back. 900 health. The thing is that this Ray might die. Like, this Ray could hypothetically die because of the high five AoE. And like, here's the other problem. They put the Ray there. Now the high five is leeching health. So the Ray goes down. $1,300 health. Raelian. An interesting choice. By the way, the notes for this is Mesophobe is a good map, right? Does anybody else detect a hint, a touch, a scotch of sarcasm? There might be just a teeny helping of sarcasm. Ball game. I think that game says everything about that map. There may be legitimate defenses to this or the Squiggles opener, but I haven't seen them yet. So if you've done it, feel free to submit a replay or talk about it in the Random Thoughts Discord, link in the description. Well, we're back on Mesophobe, chat. Our hero here this time is Breadboi. I came up with the idea to just save up and put all the crowd damage phobies onto the battlefield. He suggested Gravedigger so that we could get rid of the extra obstacles. This isn't an actual game. We planned this. It was just really good looking, so we wanted to share. Okay, well, yeah, I imagine a Mesophobe game would have been much quicker if this was, normally. Just joined the Tiny Terrors event? Nice. It is growing. It is growing. It seemed like everybody who played Tiny Terrors the first time in the first event was excited about the idea, and there were a number of people that asked about, hey, when's the next one starting up? So hopefully it's going to be an enjoyable experience for everybody, and that the format is interesting. After we get a couple of them under our belt, we'll have a better idea. Oh my god, a turn 2 Russell, what is happening? We'll have a better sense of, you know, is the format really balanced? Does it make sense? Or, and I'm just throwing this out there as a thing, like, is Innocuous a problem? Losing 4 times on Mesophobe against pay-to-win players? I mean, well, like we were talking about before, there's stress levels always give you, it's an advantage. This map probably feels worse, yeah. Russell, my favorite Heart Rush phobie. Yeah, I think they're not, like they said, they're doing something funny. That's why I'm kind of letting it play out in the background. There isn't really, I don't even know what we're looking at from a commentary perspective yet, so we'll just see. That's a flesh crawler. That's a thing you can do. But yeah, chat, while we're watching this, letting it roll, if you're interested in Fright Night or if you're interested in Tiny Terrors, hit up the Discord. There's stuff going on. I'm hoping that I can get Fright Night 6 up and running soon. I have to submit everything for approval through the devs. We're going to be looking at sometime at the end of April as a target date for that. The Tiny Terrors event is going to kick off a little over a week, assuming we get enough people. So this isn't a farming game. I don't know what this is. They just were doing funny stuff, they said in the notes. So we're just kind of letting it go. There aren't a lot of rules for game submissions. Obviously, if this was like an 80-turn game, I'd be skipping through it. But I don't know. There's not a whole lot to comment on this one. But it was a submitted game, so we will give its time in the limelight. I can tell you right now, this is the least amount of damage by this turn that's ever been dealt on Mesophobe. I don't even know, like, what is the end state for this? I don't really understand what they're trying to get to. You know what I mean? If you're doing a silly game, we've watched that game before where on Pluto, they cleared out all the obstacles and then filled the entire map with obstacles. Okay. At least I can see what you're trying to do. I have no idea what they're actually trying to achieve here. Interesting that Grimes won't get a buff for killing a frozen resurrect phobie. Does Grimes get a buff if it steps on a resurrect phobie? Oh, there we go. Flesh crawler going in. I wonder what the difference is that because it's frozen. I guess... Well, because that actually makes sense. The ice is what kills it, not Grimes. Grimes is putting it into the bone state, but the ice is actually what kills it. It would probably be the same if you killed a resurrect phobie and it was standing on lava. They weren't kidding with all the AoE phobies. I feel like there was an easier way to do all of that, even given the circumstances, I'm not gonna lie. A little screechy going, heavy metal. Onda will be proud. A 3-for-1. Yeah, Chad, we got a lot more games on here. There's a few that are... Somebody submitted multiple games, but... We'll have a whole stack of them to go through next week, too. I may end up missing a streaming day next week. It's a holiday. Might have stuff going on, so... We'll play it by ear. I'll let people know in Discord. And we'll boom into sheep action. All right. And then there was Gin Sting. This was an interesting display. You know what this reminds me of, chat? This feels like a game trailer. You know how there's always trailers, and that didn't even do damage. That's kind of hilarious. You know, you'll have the game trailer for a strategy or card game or tactics game or something, and then they end up having these scenarios that are like, that will never actually occur in a real game. Because either the stuff you're using is terrible, or it's just like, how would you even make it to that scenario because something that's involved would have died or this other thing would have happened. That's kind of what that game felt like. It felt like you could take sections of that and strip it out and use it for a trailer. And it's like, well, look how cool this is. And it's like, yeah, but that scenario will never happen. GG. Hey, we finally get another map since we were stuck on a few earlier on. Our hero here is Gakuen. Hydra gets Avenge from Misanthrope. I assume Revenge. Or Vengeance if you prefer. But we'll have to see how this goes. I was actually working on my map tier list, chat. I'm curious what your thoughts are. I think this map is terrible. I really hate this map. I don't know. I'm torn between the map is not good and I'm not good at this map. But I don't like this map. I've kind of always struggled with it. We've definitely had some funny games, because speaking of funny stuff, Paladin Misanthrope, this is the map where it seems to always happen. Although this is weird. Why did this boom go here? 1, 2, 3. So, like, okay, you get the fire here, but you could have killed the boom just to eliminate it. So that way it can't come in and cap a point or something. I feel like that would have been more valuable than hitting the Misanthrope, but maybe... What level is this Misanthrope? Level 10 Misanthrope. It has a lot of health. I don't know. The boom just sitting on the fire because it doesn't care. What? It's a preemptive muffin. The Thunder Rocks to counter the Misanthrope feels excessive. Am I wrong here? Like, that seems unnecessary. Oop, I got a ping in Discord. Alright, chat, I'll take a quick break after this game. So, Hydra coming in. I think Gakuen was the one who did the Hydra Blondie game on Home Sweet Home, wasn't it? I assume that's what Big She is talking about. Zappy? I mean, it makes sense here. Zappy's probably pretty good on this map. What is happening right now? I mean, I guess this is to prevent the snowball from going on the stem? But... what is... Chat, what was this turn? Can someone explain this to me? Like, what just happened? Down goes Thunder Rocks. So, the Venus is pretty tank. We are getting a double snake game again. I'm pretty sure it was Gakuen. Like, I'm really confident now. Venus just tanking the zappy hits. I don't know about that. This is, like, now becoming a Gakuen signature move. The Hydra into Blondie play. And honestly, I don't know what Bad Guy does here, because Like, you're going to get one hit. It's going to get powered down by 363. You're still going to push a fair amount of damage, but these are pretty tanky Phobies, and this is a Hydra on a stim pad. That's 1,100 damage. We just watched a Chuck obliterate a heart that has more health. This heart is not going to last very long. Oh, you need to target that Hydra. Mechanical Cerberus, yep. We've talked about it before where I feel like Hydra might be a better Cerberus. Oh, the body block! By the way, it's also Panic Point and a Morty. Chat. Triple Panic Point advantage. Hydra and Blondie. Just doing it to him. Yeah, I don't think capping those panic points matter. Hashtag just saying. Oh my god, the Hydra lived. Look at this game. Still had all these. This is hilarious. I don't have Blondie. I want to try this. Yeah, I kind of want to try it too, because this just seems insane. It makes sense to a degree, because, like, there's just so much HP. But at the same time, sometimes it just feels like I'm trying to formulate the words, but did Bad Guy just allow this to happen? You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm gonna have to think about this, because this is hilarious. I have Cerberus, so I could go Hydra Cerberus instead. But Blondie gives you a better effect. Alright, back on Biff's room with Fratute in the orange trunks as our hero. Very close game. Let's see what we got here. We've had a few games tonight on this map. Getting the old classic snowball opener out of Bad Guy. Whoa, getting the not-so-classic opener of Jin Sting. I mean, I've seen this before, but it's not very common. PorkPork is playing again? Yeah, PorkPork's back. I think did PorkPork submit a game? Yeah, PorkPork submitted a game. I thought they had said that they did, but I don't think PorkPork ever really, like, gave the game up. It was just, you know, taking a break sort of thing, from what they said. Which is fine. I mean, I bring up the story from World of Warcraft all the time, but basically, if you want or need to take a break from a game, do it. Like, there's... Don't force... Because that's how you end up hating things, is if you force yourself to do something that's supposed to be a leisure activity, and you're supposed to be having fun with it. So, anyway... As far as the game goes, lot of turrets coming out from our hero. They're down a panic point, so they are going to have to claim this back somehow. Klepto out of Bad Guy. What are we looking at here? Looking at a level 10 Klepto versus... Well, everything's about the same level, around level 10. You got an under-level Bachelor comparatively, but that's not important. But I can see why this is going to end up being a close game as per the notes, because we're getting a stare down from both players. Neither player really wants to commit to something here. Obviously, it could spell doom very easily. Our hero can't really advance, but they have banked up to 8 keys. So, the question is, are we going to see... I assume we have a particular phobia in mind, since they didn't pop out a 1 key to replace this. Ooh, we're getting a Fire Ant. All right. Fire Ant and a 1 key. The 1 key could have come out last turn, I think. And then you could have just gotten Fire Ant. Point being is that you could have killed this, and then this slides in, recaps the panic point right now. Bad Guy's repositioning leaves much to be desired. That Stabby is now out of the game for a turn and a half, 2 turns. And there's now going to... Fratute has, I don't want to say, like, completely taken over the game. I also don't really like this. It's going to take 2 hits, so you get 2 sets of splash onto everything. I'm sure this was just okay, I want to get a trap set up. These were already here, but maybe Ginsting should have been down here and this should have just walked out or something. Or maybe pull the stabby back. Just to minimize damage on your stuff. Either way, 7 keys remaining for bad guy, 6 for our hero. And we're still going to the 1 key trading war. I do feel that our hero is in a pretty decent position as far as, well, they have time. You're not looking at an enormous amount of pressure. Still over 4k health on your heart. Yeah, you're down, but you're going to fill the board with traps. Now, this just seems unnecessary. Gravedigger is... Oh, no. I assume that was just an oversight. There's just no advantage here to be gained. It wasn't bait. Without a Gravedigger, it is challenging to try and find good surface area. You have the concave, but clearly Jar and Friends is able to push enough damage. Final Phobie is Hevo. So where are these traps going to go down? Because there's just so much splash. Like, look at this. 800 health, 1,000 health, just basically from splash damage. That's a huge amount of damage that went down on these phobies that probably didn't need to happen. And bad guy still has 6 keys, so this is pretty spooky. This is getting pretty scary here. Since there are no keys remaining, our hero is going to have to basically do this with Hevo and Bow Mangles and then a bunch of traps, because everything else is going to die, right? And this whole time, our hero's been taking heart damage. It didn't matter for a while, but this has been going on for some time. It's adding up. Ray Chargels is the final phobie. I can definitely understand that from bad guy. There must just be an enormous cascade of traps. I don't understand how our hero wins otherwise. It just doesn't make sense. There's probably a trap here. Like, that's reasonable. I don't know if there's going to be a trap here. There could be one here. There's probably one here. Boom! I was trying to figure out how our hero is going to win this game. You know what? Oh no, this is not going to go away. It's going to give it away, chat. I was going to... There we go. Okay, hold on. I was trying to figure out how our hero was possibly going to win this game from this position. And we found out. It was pretty much what I predicted, because the only way out of this is if bad guy advances and then gets blown up by a bunch of traps. But guess what? Fratute, 50,000 IQ play. Boom! A lake of fire is right. Look at that. Just spreading the love. You know what's funny is a whole bunch of stuff lived. I wonder if bad guy could have just ran away. Like, just walk away with the snowball so you don't just literally die. I guess it doesn't matter because you wouldn't have had enough time, but... Good lord! That was fantastic. That was looking awful. That was looking awful, and then pulled it back. Well done. Welcome back, PorkPork. PorkPork coming back in, sporting the Dozer avatar. You don't see that very often. I'm not a great player, but I felt I had a fun few moments with Akira. Oh, we're in for it, chat. We're in for it. Only 8k damage dealt on the last game? That's actually hilarious. So, our hero here in the orange trunks, PorkPork. We're obviously going to be getting an Akira. Returning player, PorkPork used to be hanging out all the time, so welcome back. Akira isn't funny for me, honestly. I think Akira is fun to spectate. I don't think there's a reality where Akira's fun to play against. It's one thing, so... And we're getting a weird opener here with Ted, but we're just going to let this one roll a little bit. There are phobies that make your life difficult, right? The Akiras, the Attractors, and then to a lesser degree, Moffat, Octonaughty, Boops, Smother Mother, that sort of thing. And I'm not saying they're all on the same power level, but, you know, they make your life more difficult, right? Because you have to do whatever in order to not get blown out. Oh, we get a boss. Boss would be another one that makes your life difficult. There are times where it is fun because it is a challenging scenario to figure out, how do I win? How do I actually take over this game despite this mean, terrible thing that's opposing me? And there are phobies that there's just no reality in which that's going to be fun. It's just going to be a nightmare. And I think Akira is the latter. Akira just seems like it's going to constantly be a pain in the neck. Now, not that many people have it, which is good and bad. The bad part is that obviously people get beat by Akira and don't have the option to do the same, but Akira is not a great answer for Akira, I don't think. The bigger thing is that we don't have enough people utilizing Akira to then get in the games to find an appropriate answer to Akira. Yeah, if somebody walks their Akira into your team and you just blow it up, great, there's an answer. But in a normal course of a game that involves Akira, how do you beat it? And I don't know what the answer is yet. We haven't seen it enough. Getting random game invites. So, bad guy here is going with a somewhat eclectic bunch of phobies. We're getting Cerberus. I never noticed the drool puddle. I knew there was drool, but I didn't know there was a drool puddle from Cerberus. I'm not real clear on PorkPork's plan here either. Like, do get a kill here. 4-to-1 panic point advantage, but I don't understand the Sparky. I don't know why that happened. Just use Raucous. I don't think that's quite going to cut it, because otherwise the answer would have before just been, just use Boomer. Like, I just doubt that's good enough. I'm sure that will play into it, but it's a much longer discussion that we've had before. We can talk about it another time again. I don't know about this one, bad guy. I don't know about this one. So we sniped the cassowary. We're not getting the Akira activation yet, it would appear. You do get a plain Akira attack. Here's the funny thing. It sucks that a Boo Fairy. Wow. The thing about Akira is, like, there's so much that's cool about Akira, and it's, like, attached to this phobia that's going to give everyone nightmares. I don't think that's your answer there, bad guy. But they're going for it. They are, in fact, going for it. I could see PorkPork pulling back here. All right, we're getting back into it. Had to do some brief admin stuff. Yeah, so we saw this turn. Bad guy advanced. Does PorkPork go for the Akira here? We get a droney. Oh, baby. We do, in fact, get the Akira pull. That's pretty cool. The droney ended up on the point. We get the AoE from Akira too. Boo Fairy clobbering boss. Powering down. How bad is this power down? 800. Have you ever seen a Cerberus do so little damage? Have you ever seen a Cerberus present so little damage? Snipe the Innocuous in the back while we're at it? Not a bad turn. Not a bad turn. I mean, we've seen some really bonkers Akiras, so on a scale of 1 to Onda, this is not the most impressive Akira we've seen, but it was definitely a cool play there, PorkPork. The only reason that it isn't quite as cool is it does leave you very vulnerable, but seemingly not that vulnerable because even the Morty lived. And the Morty wasn't even snipeable with Jar. Blinky does go down. We're going to get some more AoE clobbering bad guy. And the Akira is standing on a spa, so it's going to be very challenging to actually finish it. Especially given the power down. Sparky kills Bo Mangles. Got him. 5 keys. Well, Woolly Bully. Chat, I really need to force myself to use the power down phobies more. You know what? I need to, the next time I see a boss, I'm putting a power down phobia on the board. I need to remember to do that. I constantly forget to try that out. Because it's super annoying as someone who uses Hevo 3.0 to have somebody power down the Hevo. It's not the end of the world because you get the fire and you know, boss can still do your fire, it can still apply fire at the basic attack, that sort of thing. But it is obnoxious. Like, it's just annoying. So I wonder if that's a feasible response. Now that I'm actually seeing boss in, not review games, but more of the games that I'm playing, I'm putting more thought into how do I respond to it. I have bad news for you, bad guy. That jar is not safe. That jar is not safe. Morty claims another one. Your coffin has arrived. Are we going to see a heart rush? Oh my god. Akira heart rush? Is that what's happening right now? Everyone who's complaining about an Akira game, take it back. Take it back right now. You know what's funny is we're going to get an Akira heart rush. Is the Akira back online yet? The Akira's back online, so it'll actually pull all of this stuff back from the heart. Not a whole hell of a lot, but I mean, it does do something. Dr. Traffic will be happy. Get a little woolly bully action here. I guess it's not an Akira heart rush. It's more of a Morty heart invade, but still. But still. Not bad, PorkPork. Not bad. Ah, Akira is going to get the last hit. Got him. GG. GG. That was actually way more interesting than I thought it was going to be. It's like, oh, there was an Akira game. No, that was actually pretty cool. The Big House. TCT, our hero here in the blue trunks, Trap Gaming. We do love some games with some traps. We did see a cool trap game earlier. We'll have to see whether we get a cool trap game now. I imagine it will be, or it would have been submitted, right? But yes, while we're waiting on the openers here, a Gravedigger opener, by the way, which is kind of cool. You don't see it too often anymore on this map. Tiny Terrors is intended right now to be async for a few different reasons. Ooh, we get the early block. I don't know why this sort of stuff amuses me so much, but it does. It really does. We do get a beatdown going down on Gravedigger, but is this enough with Snowball? Oh, that's enough. That Gravedigger actually pays with his life. That hurts. Imagine an extra large type of map. Do we really need that? Like, is that something we actually want to have happen? Venus. I mean, we knew it was going to be trap gaming, but still. Panic point advantage hero. So despite the early Gravedigger loss, this is going to be a tough nut to crack for bad guy, just because, you know, there's going to be a plethora of traps. They're going to have to consider all this stuff, but our hero can't really defend this center panic point that well. Bad guy could commit in. See if they do. Because they probably don't want to burn this Jin Sting, right? Or the Cassowary, for that matter. Which gives our hero time to set up all these traps. So now Venus should be back off cooldown. Yep. It's puking one up right now. And Poison Ivy? Wow. That's a lot of traps. Not quite the 25 trap Opticon game, but that's a lot of traps. I am a little surprised by bad guy being so aggressive here, because that's a dead Cassowary. But given what our hero is presented, they don't have a great way to, in turn, reclaim the center panic point. They'd be in a significantly better position if the Gravedigger lived, but obviously it did not, so womp womp. So both of these Phobies are going to have to get the hell out of Dodge because they're in grave danger at the moment. The Inoculus will get some pot shots, or a pot shot, but... Gonzo Bonzo, that's a little scary. Now our hero's in a weird position. They have time. It's not like they need to immediately make something happen. But Gonzo with the Inoculus means that nothing's coming down this corridor. It's dead. Crabula. A little rock lobster action in Clopster here. Alright, so they're gonna... Ooh... Electing to go with the Jin Sting. Oh, baby, look at this turn! We know what's about to happen. Bad guy's about to find out. Oh my god. Bam! Pretty good. Seems okay. Dead Inoculus. Dead Snowball. Dead Jin Sting. Dead Cowbell. I don't think you can ask for something much better than that. That was a really strong turn. Now, admittedly, bad guy still had 6 keys left. Why did they approach with a very injured squad? They weren't injured. That's the funny part. They weren't injured going in. They were afterwards. Because look at it. Like, it's 600 damage here, and then the Poison Ivy trap was like 700. And then there was, I think it was 2, and then there was another Poison Ivy trap. Basically, everything took 600 or 700 damage. Finnegan and Unbearable are the responses. I don't think that's what's going to get you out of this bad guy, but I'll be honest, I don't know what does. 4-to-1 panic point advantage. The silver lining is bad guy knows that there aren't that many traps at the moment, at least in the spots they were in. Maybe they know, because there's no way to tell with the cooldown, so. Imagine a trap that deals 1k damage. You won't have to imagine much longer. There's a few people with phobies that high level. Panic point advantage, bad guy. I don't know that there's enough damage to kill this unbearable. We're about to find out. If there isn't, this is kind of dangerous because the Gonzo should be live. Ooh, this is kind of scary. Maybe not, because that's going to tank 2 hits. Crab and jar. Gotta hold down the fort. But there are traps galore. Down goes Unbearable. Down goes Finnegan. And then there was only Monkey. Only Gonzo to hold down the team. Panic point advantage is in favor of bad guy, but our hero does have a life lead. Although it looks like they're just going to go for it. They're not going to bother trying to heart race or something. Well played, TCT. Well played. That was pretty cool. It was, in fact, as the note said, trap gaming. Seems okay. Seems okay. We had 2 wild trap games tonight, chat. It's not the spooky season, but we have our resident vampire. Well, I'm assuming Strahd is related to the infamous D&D vampire. I don't know. Maybe it's just a coincidence. But our hero here is, in fact, in the orange trunks on Eternal Monday. Insane heart race, both IRL and in-game. Well, I hope the IRL part is okay. I hope there wasn't an implication there that there was a medical emergency. It was more like, oh, everything's on the ropes, so your heart was pounding. But we do get a Gravedigger opener out of our hero. Baby Snaky at a bad guy? I don't... Whoa, moly bully. Chat, we're in for some spice. We're in for a little spice. Bad guy banks to 6. That's just a dead cowbell. The Gravedigger, I think, is safe. I don't think there's any way that it can die. We get the counter Tiny Tim. I was going to say Moly Bully, but it's a counter Tiny Tim. That's actually really cool. What level is this Tiny Tim? A level 3 Tiny Tim. All right. Well, I don't know about level 3 Tiny Tim, but it is what we're seeing. We get the Gravedigger block to lock him out. That, spoiler alert, that's not going to stop Tiny Tim. And honestly, the Tiny Tim can take this panic point. Triple panic point advantage. Now, granted, there's a lot of damage here, and at level 3, this has a ton of HP, but still. Our hero's playing with fire here, not interested in claiming the panic points just yet. Oh, baby, wow. They must have ran out of time here, because I feel like this could have attacked. So this Gravedigger is probably dead. That might result in the dead Tiny Tim. Just because of the retaliation efforts. But this is looking grim. Almost halfway through the game, and yeah, this is looking grim, just board position-wise. That being said, maybe they can get the Tiny Tim here? No, it doesn't look like it. Can definitely beat it up, but not quite enough. And Tiny Tim can't reach the spa thanks to this obstacle. But we now have a Klepto. Stemming the bleeding a little bit with 1650 left on their heart. Panic. Oh my god. Another game with Hydra? Chat, everybody. Was there a quest or something? Some event in-game that I'm not aware of? That everybody's spawning Hydra? Alright, the Muffin's gonna cause our hero to have to invest a lot more effort into killing this Klepto. But I feel like bad guys should have had the jar on the stim last turn. The reason being is there was no point in having it here to, like, threaten these points. And you would have gotten more damage if they were just going to hit the obstacle. But regardless, they're keeping Tiny Tim back to heal. And everything else is... it's going to have to do something. Boomer. 1 key remaining, 3 keys remaining for our hero. So I guess we're just going to do the 1 key trading war. At this point... So if I were bad guy, I think you'd probably want to stage for capping all 3 in a turn, and then hoping that Jar and Snowball can get there. So, like, group everything up. Get Tiny Tim here. Tiny Tim caps this point. Klepto takes here. Boomer goes here. And then just run the other 2 to the heart. And hope that you can poke. Probably wouldn't work, but... I mean, I don't know what your chances are otherwise. Sure doesn't look good. Because that Hydra is fairly tanky. Now, Cassowary does go down. Tiny Tim has gotten the idea that, yes, in fact, I do need to address things on the heart, but... Or address the heart situation. Get a little panic play action, or challenge play action here. Triple panic point advantage going the other way. Wiggy beaten up on Tiny Tim. This is actually a heads-up play from our hero here, capping the panic point, or I keep saying the wrong thing, capping the stim, so that Tiny Tim can't take the stim. It would not have been enough damage immediately, but it would have been a threat. $15.67 to $16.50. Our hero has officially taken the health lead. $1,200 health here. Would have been at 600. It might have been better to just go heart. We'll see how this turn plays out. Again, I think you needed to stage stuff to, if you're bad guy, to go after the heart. You're just not going to do anything otherwise. And they're probably kicking themselves here with Boomer not being a, oh, wow. Since the Bachelor vacated, it opens up the chance for Tiny Tim to get the stim. Challenge play into ball game. GG. Well played. Well played, Strahd. That was pretty cool. TacoBulldog coming back. Rush Hour. Man, I should submit more of these. All right, let's see what you got. Let's see what you got, Taco. At level 1, Molly does 550. Tim does 475. Okay. It's actually a bigger disparity than I thought it was. So, bad guy went Contortio Pass. I don't know about that one. Because they wanted to bank for high 5. On rush hour? That's sus. We got a little walrus action. Got a little Steves going on. Jeeves making their presence felt. Gonna be hilarious when high five gets frozen. Pop. High five tries to pat the cat on the head, and it doesn't end well for the cat. High five's going to the wrong heart. You're not wrong. So, is the trap here? Where do we think the trap is? Because the trap just got laid. And we get a Gonzo. I don't hate Gonzo here. I don't know what the hell this high five is doing. Doom Doom? I mean, I get it, but... High five sees heart, high five want to break heart. I don't know. This high five does not seem interested in hearts at all. Like, not even remotely. So panic point advantage is in favor of bad guy. But in the meantime, our hero's coding the map in traps. They have a Gonzo set up. Ooh, so there is a trap here. There's probably one more that Doom Doom can't see yet. I think. If I'm managing the cooldowns mentally correctly. Probably not. Blasto. We haven't seen a Blasto in a while, probably because DT hasn't submitted a game in a while. DT was, of course, carrying the Blasto torch for a long time. We haven't actually seen Blastos on Crypto all that much either. Chat. Can someone explain to me what it is with people trying to answer enormous high-key undeads with creep? Like, I get it. Creep is annoying. It'll do some damage. I guess it's cheap. So you can just, you know, I'm not burning a ton of resources to fight it, but it just seems like such a waste. Pow! Dead Murder Wing. Pushing some extra damage onto the high five. Panic point advantage in favor of our hero. There's probably 3 traps on the board at the moment. Back in the day, haven't used Blasto much for a while now, unless I want to lose on Crypto more quickly. You don't like him on Crypto any longer? For a while, people were trying to tout it as a beauty replacement, but the mobility is kind of a big deal. Oops, by the way. Bwom! You have to sink a lot of effort into killing this high five, but... One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. Okay, we were maxed out on Phobies. I was going to say you could just pop a jar or something, but... That seems like a feasible trade. A worthwhile one to eliminate that. On Crypto, I'm going to lose anyway. We'll go faster if all keys in one Phobie. Fair. Well, Doom Doom found a trap. It'll actually... We're going to witness Doom Doom eating a trap, chat. I don't think we've ever seen this before. Usually Doom Doom comes out and then... Okay, the Tickles eating a trap is way cooler than Doom Doom. Tickles eating a trap looks way cooler than Doom Doom. Four to 1 panic point advantage for bad guy, by the way. Blasto has AT-AT feet, like from Star Wars. I've never thought about it. So, Snow Speeder Phobie when? I'm trying to think that the hands on Blasto remind me of a toy that I had, but I don't remember what one. I'm trying to remember. I mean, they're just like robot claws, so it's kind of generic, but... So bad guy only has a single key left, whereas our hero here has 10. Has 5. But at this stage, the damage is kind of adding up on the heart, but I just have a hard time believing bad guy can ever do anything, and eventually our hero will have enough stuff to just be able to go in. Hey, Honda. You got Noxious? Nice. Grats. I'm still waiting to pick up my Noxious. I haven't gotten it yet. I ended up getting Misanthrope dupes for the season. Womp womp. After the pack opening, I was kind of due for something like that, right? Alright, panic points going the other way. This is fine. I mean, it's not... Bad guy's just going to reclaim this. It's not... The resurrect is irrelevant. Exactly. Although they're not going to expose the Doom Doom because they want to both heal it and they want to not have it, you know, die. How many Phobies do I have? We looked at, I want to say like 129 or something like that. Bwom! We get the Juiced Blasto, which isn't quite enough with the laser to kill Creep. Almost, but not quite. One more Jackalope for the pile. We do, in fact, get the poison going down, which is kind of whatever. But our hero does have the key advantage, so they can get the panic point advantage back and then play defensively, because the Jeeves is not going to die to this. And now bad guy kind of, well, they can just kill the Jackalope with Erratic and then walk on, walk off with the Cyclops if they want. Yep. This is kind of bold. Oh, you get the block. All right. That's fair, I guess. It does eliminate 2 traps between the Doom Doom and the block, for what that's worth. But this Crushmore should just be dead. And you can probably splash some poison onto Doom Doom here. Maybe not. That was unnecessary. Although I guess it would have died anyway. I wonder which laser beam phobia I'll get first. I'm still waiting on some of them too. And by some of them, I mean all of them. A lot of panic points for bad guy here. Doom Doom eats yet another trap. I'm not gonna lie, chat. This Doom Doom has actually put in work. I'm kind of surprised. Bwom. You know what's also put in work? That Blasto. Down goes Erratic. Down goes bad guy's chances. There are still a few turns left in this game, but I imagine it's just because our hero has to run around, try and cap some panic points, or bad guy hides in the corner. We'll find out momentarily. Blasto's your first laser beam phobie. 4 more stress levels, I get the laser beam phobie puff. Yeah, it's technically a laser beam. I look forward to those replays, Onda. Well played here, Taco. Well done. Despite the Doom Doom, so chat, the challenge is still out there. We have yet to see a Doom Doom win a game. And when I say Doom Doom win a game, I don't want somebody to be like, oh, well, I was just crapping on my opponent that was 50 stress levels lower than me, so I put a Doom Doom on the board on the last turn. That doesn't count. You need to actually win the game because of Doom Doom. Like, Doom Doom played a pivotal role in taking over the game. Because right now, it's just not happening. Also, for the record... Oh, no, never mind. They were poison. And they were absolutely dead. Get the freeze. GG. GG. I was going to say Cyclops could run to the heart, but the poison would have done it in. Alright, back on Rush Hour. Master Dark is our hero this time. A really, quote-unquote, toxic game. I have to imagine we're going to see a handful of poison and or disease. We'll have to see. For now, it'll take time to level up my Noxious. Yeah. How good is Noxious if it's really underleveled? It feels like it could still be useful, especially if you have access to, like, Gonzo. Maybe, maybe not. This is an interesting response from bad guy, Jar into Stabby. Then again, Master Dark opened with Murderwing Cat, so that's also a little weird, but... Especially when you have Snowball, because you could have capped the middle here. Although the thing is, if you cap middle and bottom, it's generally fairly easy for your opponent to threaten this panic point, so you can't, like, swing Snowball back here. So we get the break in the south with the Gravedigger here. That makes sense. And then we get a cat, and we're going to be staring at each other for a little bit. I've been trying to hydrate up today, chat. Felt very dehydrated. I'm starting to feel better, but... That's a dead cat. I mean, it'll be a cooked cat momentarily, but not enough to allow for the panic point capture immediately. Murderwing out a bad guy. Alright, there's the panic point capture. Big surprise. This Murderwing positioning seems a little weird. So... I don't know. And this feels like it's a free Murderwing kill, but then you probably counter-kill Gravedigger for that, what that's worth. Like, I don't think you can get both of these, and I doubt that our... Ooh, an early Barzilla? Wow, okay. I mean, 4-to-1 panic point advantage hero... Burpzilla. Alright, so Gravedigger goes down. Foul. I mean, I get it, I guess. You disease the Barzilla, and then, you know, you have panic point advantage, like, they have to commit in. But if you were going to do that, wouldn't you want it down here? You could have moved the Snowball. And then... probably swung it back if you wanted the Fireball the next turn. So, like, Foul could be where Snowball is right now. Which wouldn't necessarily be good because you'd have to find a way to... Well, you could probably hit this once, clear it out with Jar, walk it away, walk Foul up, disease this, but you might lose Foul in the process. I don't know. Regardless, we're going to get a cooked Jar, turn it into soup. Ginsting's gonna claim its spot on the healing spot, and Baby Snaky. I don't... What? Why the Baby Snaky? I guess the Snowball trade for the Jar is fine. But this is where it's going to be a little weird, because our hero who's banked to 10 now has to find a way to claim these panic points back. And it's going to take a couple turns unless you put something valuable onto it. Foul countering foul. What? Chat, we've been seeing a lot of weird stuff tonight. Toxic Game is right. I mean, they weren't kidding. It is as build. And a sheep. Huh. Well, that is in fact a game plan. That's a thing that can be done. I still love the hair flip from Foul. It's still hilarious to me. What next? Noxious? Well, there's 11 keys. There's 11 keys. I've always wondered about that, chat. If you could go like a full poison strategy and try and overload their ability to heal it. And then immediately following that thought, I go, wait, they can just go mechanical, so you end up poisoning like one dude. It's like, oh, their early game is whatever, so I poison that. And then they transition out of that into mechanicals and all your poison stuff. And it's Russell. That's actually pretty good here. Got 3 undeads. It's not quite every poison phobie or every disease phobie, but it sure as hell is a lot. We do get the disease going down on Barzilla. I don't know if this invade is worth it. Because I think this baby Snakey just dies. And then the foul comes... Well, actually, it might not, because the Barzilla took a beating. This aggression from Master Dark makes sense here. I like this. Because if they want to waste time screwing around trying to disease your stuff, they're gonna just die. I mean, they might just die here anyway, because they're gonna end up losing a bunch of stuff in the counterattack, but we'll see. There's the poison. The Caw. That looks like cooked sheep. Oh, they must have ran out of time. It wouldn't have killed it, though, with the snowball, even if it got the fireball off. But not fireballing there must have been running out of time. There's no reason otherwise. I love the pull there, so now it's a 4-point sheep hit. That's pretty good. That's pretty solid. Like this deserves another look. This is actually a cool play. You get this sheep going in, it's like, that's a pretty good sheep. Oh, but it gets better. You get the yoink to get a 4-hit sheep connection. Pretty solid. The Omega Fart, as Chad is pointing it out. You really want Russell? Do you, though? Do you, though? Look, I love Russell. Russell's fun. I think if Snowball uses the ability, Sheep will still alive. Yes, it is. I was pointing that out. It would have lived because it would have only done like 400 damage. It already had fire under it, so we don't get any extra damage out of it. But I don't understand why they even put it on the board. Like, I don't know. I guess to stage it to try and come up here and fight, but... The Daisy's dead. The Foul has lived. Well, our hero's Foul, anyway. Barzilla has seen better days, in fact. And so is Russell. That tombstone sound... Wow, 2 diseases out of Foul this game? You don't see that very often. Toxic Game is right. Toxic Game is right. Funky Chinkin making stonks gaming. All the panic points go blue. And down goes Stabby. GG. GG. Master Dark confirmed. Not a liar. Very toxic game. Alright, I was just double checking to make sure that I wasn't loading the wrong game, but our hero here is Renamon in the orange trunks on crypto, my first draw. We'll see how this goes. Chad is confirming that it doesn't say draw on the match history, which is interesting. Always a close loss from both sides. Interesting. I was unaware of that. There's too many Christmas Electric Cat avatar users? Why? What's wrong with that? So we get a boom. Alright, the boom doesn't bait the cassowary. This was kind of tempting bait, but if you go in, you're just going to get it sniped. Murder Wing's going to come out. It's going to blow up your world. You're going to be very sad. Don't take the bait. So Renamon here is getting the late Gravedigger. I wonder why they're preserving the boom. We'll have to see. But you could have easily sent the boom onto the panic point. Now the Murder Wing, again, it's a juicy target, but don't go for the boom. Definitely would have died. Gesundheit's a follow-up from Bad Guy. And Sock Asim. We haven't seen one of those in a long time. I haven't seen it in a long time. Sure, I guess. The boom detonates to get the Electric Cat. That's probably all it was ever going to do, which is fine, I guess. Oh, God. I am tired, chat. Since I was up late streaming on Friday, I'm still recovering. I can't quite be up all night, all the time, like I used to be. Why not Meatball and Boom can take the panic point? It's a good question. It's a good question. So Gravedigger is continuing its demolition plan. K9 going in. This is kind of bold. You don't see this very often, trading in anything higher than 1 keys on this map, especially if your opponent has a 1 key available. But both players have banked to 9, so what is the big nasty that's coming out? I guess that's a good a reason as any to not do it. Wait, what? That doesn't seem very efficient. I kind of get it. You want to remove the 1 key and don't want... Like, if you leave the 1 key on the board, there's a risk there, but at the same time, like... I don't know. I don't agree with that. Both players have banked to 13 and 12 keys, respectively. Like, guys, we got to do something. You got to play the game. What are you doing? Just trading one... Wait, what? Why? Alright, I assume this turn was they ran out of time. Otherwise, why not move this? Oh, no, you can't move it up because... I'm kind of confused right now. So this attractor can't even approach because the threat of Gesundheit and Cassowary. What's even stranger is, like, I don't know what the purpose of this block is, but if this block wasn't there, you could have broke this and then walked up and yoinked these two and possibly killed them. We do ultimately get a yoink here, though. And it leads to 3 keys worth of takedown, so that's acceptable. The attractor is now safe. But you still have to recap the pattern. Wait. Why is this boomer here now? Why did the boomer take the center? There's like, no reason for it. What? How was every single game tonight weird? It wasn't every game, but yeah, we've had an abnormally large amount of weird games. So Mr. Tramples is now going to threaten a tractor, and Gonzo comes out to supplement the forces. Panic point advantage orange, but key advantage is even. Technically in favor of bad guy because the Bachelor can reclaim this, and our hero has to find a way to make something happen. Wait, what? Did you run out of time? Like... What is happening? Am I being trolled? Wait, did this... Oh, okay. I was like, did this walk up and it could have leapt? Wait, the attractor lived through all of that? 8 health. Chad, I have no idea what the hell is happening here. The only way this becomes a draw is... something has to kill one of these and die. That's the only way this can become a draw. I guess I didn't undo that Gonzo for some reason. That's fair. Like, I figured you ran out of time or something. Like, it happens. You could have capped the panic point! Like, you could have capped this panic point! And then just... I don't even know what to say. Alright, so the appropriate play here is bad guy just retreats, caps the panic point. What do you even say to that? What the hell was that? That was just... What the hell was that? Oh my god. Renamon. Wow. Wow. I loved every second of that game. There was not a turn in that game that didn't make me happy. Alright, chat. Probably closing things up with this game. Big She, our hero, our resident Mildred expert. Last test subject, Karth, is the definition of how much I can hate a game. What? Karth has been the bad guy a couple times. Couple times tonight. So shout out to Karth. Hopefully, as always, we don't try to beat up on the bad guys. We're just having fun. Nothing personal across the board. But we're on Pyro Abyss. Is that the name of this map, or is that the other new one? This is not Pyro Abyss. What is this map called, Chad? Help me out. I can't remember. But this is one of the new maps from the from the update. Right now, my favorite one. But the most recent one is... I'm coming around on it. Oh, this is Pyro Abyss. Okay. I mean, it kind of makes sense. You got fire and you got a big abyss. Makes sense. Early turrets from our hero here. Early Firkin, a common refrain from Big She. On this map, it makes sense, this early Firkin. There's not much that goes on up in the north, and everything else gets clustered around here, so you can... It's very difficult to hide something. If your opponent pops out in a tractor or a boss or whatever, like, it's going to be difficult. So we get the early power down on the enemy Furkin. That's, of course, going to set it back a little bit. Disable specials by putting it on max amount of time for cooldown. Murder Wing the follow-up. Panic point advantage, bad guy. There are multiple 1 keys on the board, though. So our hero could... Well, there's multiple 1 keys for both sides. I was going to say, we can try and trade back and forth, but... We now have the Attractor. Thanks to the activation of the Furkin, the Attractor is, of course, ready to go. But we do get a Mildred. So here's the cool play from Big She here. It's a minor thing, but it makes a big deal. If the Attractor tries to pull the Bow Mangles, because why is it going to pull like anything else? It's going to yoink the Mildred with it, and therefore the Mildred will be in range. Now, this is a 1300 health Attractor because it's level 16. This is not quite enough damage even with a direct hit from Mildred. That's kind of bonkers. It's kind of bonkers. Panic points briefly in favor of our hero, but not for any longer. Here's where things probably start to get messy. Gonzo plus an AoE phobie, such as, well, a fairly high-level Attractor, means probably a bad time. Get a break here. Allows for a little bit of repositioning. We still got 2 more turns on the Furkin power down. Is it possible to buff Boomer? I don't think so. I don't think you can Gonzo a Boomer. So the invade from bad guy with 11 keys banked means it's a 4-to-1 panic point advantage. This is a little scary. But Big She answering with the big boss man. We actually get to see a... Chad, have we reviewed a game where the hero has boss? I don't think that's come up yet. But we do have massive amounts of AoE between boss and Mildred ready to go. But is bad guy going to advance enough to allow for it to happen? It looks like no. They see the writing on the wall. They're going to get the hell out of Dodge. That Furkin is not safe. The question is Big She going to Furkin the Furkin again, or is Big She going to go for one of these? It probably has to be Furkin, because you're not going to get in range of these in time before this comes off cooldown. And otherwise, they're going to hit Mildred or boss, and you don't want that to happen. Yep. We get the rainbow going down. But our hero's going to have to do something soon. I mean, it's a 4-to-1 panic point advantage. It's a significant amount of damage inflicted on the heart. 4465, so it looks bad, but you still have more time than you'd think. But you don't have an eternity. It appears, though, that bad guy is allowing for a big AoE hit to go down, because both boss and Mildred can connect this turn if they want. An interesting repositioning here from the Murder Wing. Ooh, Scritch. All right, so we're getting ready. It's happening, chat. There's going to be a big lot of damage numbers. Big batch of damage numbers. And big numbers at that. Roni! That could be a problem. Furkin is not live. Brony gets tagged with the Mildred. Direct hit going down. And then we're going to get a juiced boss, I assume. Oh, maybe not. Brony gonna die to the fire, too, so nothing gets pulled out of position. That's important, for obvious reasons. Yeah, wasted horse, you're right. We get a juiced Firkin. I presume this... I mean, that's 1,000 damage. This has to be a dead boss. I don't know if I would constitute that Brony as bait, because it had to be killed, right? Like, you couldn't ignore the Brony. If you ignored the Brony, you probably just lose on the spot. It's going to walk into the middle of your team and turn everything off, and then you're definitely dead. I mean, I get the idea behind attributing it as bait, but I don't think it was. So we get the newly deads with 2 keys remaining for our hero. Big boss does in fact go down. Not a whole lot of damage on bad guys' forces. Scritch is still alive. This Firkin loves hanging out down on the bottom here. Still on cooldown. But Mildred can't quite connect yet. Alright, power down onto a tractor. It's funny how this ring of fire is here. The Panic Point Advantage hero, we do have Bone Mangles on the stem. I have to imagine Big She counted this up and that it's not possible for bad guy to kill Mildred, but it feels like it should be. Alright, they're going after Scritch. I get it, but it still feels like you want to take down Mildred, right? He kills Mildred, he'll get wrecked. Will they? These can't touch anything. It's like Firkin, Scritch, and Gravedigger? But regardless, we do get the Mildred hit going down. Big old Mildred batch. Jill taking down the Firkin. Ooh, I like this play. Get the break so that it opens up the stemmed bow mangles to start lighting up boss. That was a really good play. I like that. And just like that, bad guy's down to 2 Phobies. That guy is down to 2 Phobies. Don't get me wrong, this heart is hurting. 940 health. $235. How often do you see those couple do a double hit for... Yeah, that almost never happens. GG. GG. Well played, Big She. That was actually pretty impressive. It's pretty impressive. Being able to take that down. Take it down with Mildred, despite the boss, despite the attractor, despite the Gonzo. Well done. GG. Alright, chat. Almost on the dot. We're going to close up the stream for tonight. We'll be back for Variety tomorrow. Of course, if you're interested in Fright Night, if you're interested in Tiny Terrors, hit up the Randoms Thoughts Discord. The link for that and for this live stream, of course, are in the description. While you're down there, the likes and subscribes, as always, do help. Oof. I'm wiped, chat. I don't know what we're going to be playing tomorrow yet. I'm not really sure. It'll probably be Duelists and Spell Slingers, is my expectation. There's a couple other card games that I was looking at that I wanted to check out a little bit more offline, but we'll see how it goes. But as always, everybody, thank you for listening, thank you for watching, and Black Lives Matter.